Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Nicole with the Bushel and Peck Designs. Today we are working on this 40-ounce tumbler from Hobby Lobby. Actually, I wanted to give these a try. I've seen them several times and thought, you know what, I'm just gonna make it work. So I really liked that the handle was attached in this style. So I gave it a little bit of a sand. I bought the black tumbler and then I spray painted it in a swirly black and white design. I didn't go to perfection on the paint job. And then we are going in with black and white glitters. So the first one is Pirate from AB Designs Co. It's a chunky mix. I'm trying to go a little light-handed to start with because I am naturally heavy-handed when it comes to this. So I didn't want to go full on, full coverage with this. I'm trying to build up this blend. So I'm just kind of going in, following the spray paint pattern and just giving it a decent coverage, but still, again, not too heavy. And I don't mind that it's going into the white spots. And then I was searching for some other blacks. I really don't have a ton of black glitters, but I really loved the iridescent shift in this one. This one is Black Flame Candle, I believe. It was from the Drunk Flamingo, but now it is from Cami Page. So I don't remember what the company is called now, but you can get these from Cami Page. And then I'm going in with Death Star from Peachy Olive Glitters, and this isn't a super fine, it's kind of a finer, but not super fine. So I'd call it a medium fine. And again, I'm just going all over the same spots, just building up that blend. And of course, I forgot to mention that I am using the epoxy method for this, and it is not fast set. It is just regular medium viscosity from Counterculture DIY. I wanted to give myself a lot of working time for this because I didn't have like an exact game plan, and I knew I was going to be building upon this blend. And then here I took a silver from my dump glitter collection and put that next to the black. And then I am so sorry, this silver, I don't know, it was on my shelf in this cup, so I honestly have no idea what is in that mix, but it was more of a true, just finer silver. And then this is Unicorn, I believe, from AB Designs Co. And I just put that in a little bit in the white area. And then this is a chunkier iridescent white from my Dump Glitter collection as well. And then this is a pure white from my Dump Glitter collection again. And I'm just going in to fill in on that white area. And when I get next to a color, I go all the way into that color that's next to it. It just helps blend it a little bit better so that it's not got a straight line. And then I took this super chunky Fabulous from Sandy's Organized Chaos, and I'm adding that in a little bit to the mix as well. You can see we're filling up quite a lot here. So now I'm going to go in with some more finer ones to fill in all those blank or areas that don't have coverage. And then this is Agenda from Sandy's Organized Chaos as well. And I'm just going in with this on the white spots and on the bottom. I tried not to put too much chunkiness on the bottom because we all know that's a pain. I'm going to go back in with my pure white from my dump collection. It has a lot of fine in there, so I really wanted to get that in the cracks and crevices. Again, with that more pure silver right next to that white and some of the black. And then after that, I'm going to go in with this Pirate again from AB Designs Co. And I'm just going back over. I really covered a lot of I didn't have a lot of the black showing, but I really wanted to build on it and give it time to like not be covered up, but right here is really where the black is going to shine. And this is Batman from Peachy Olive Glitter. So I'm just really going in with this finer black, and it's really going to help that black stand on the top. I knew that a lot of the whites and silvers would cover up a lot of that, so that's why I really wanted to save this for last to really give it a predominant standout moment. And then I'm going to take a gloved hand and just go through and pat everything down. There is a lot of layers, a lot of chunkiness, so we want this to lay down as flat as possible for when we give it a coat of epoxy. After that, I am going to immediately go in and remove all of this painter's tape on the handle. If I was smart, I would have just like wrapped the thing in foil, except for the very edge where it's touching the tumbler, because I did this in several layers and it took me forever to get that darn tape thing off. So I'm going to remove that, and then I am going to give it 2 coats of epoxy. For the first coat, I taped off the handle again and epoxied it, and then I gave it a good sand, and then during that coat, I decided I was going to add a little bit of this glorious additive from AB Designs Co. into my epoxy and go ahead and epoxy the handle as well. And if you'll notice right here, I didn't notice, or I wasn't paying attention, I guess, and right on the handle, you can see that I touched it with my hand that had dust from sanding it on there, and I just wasn't paying attention. So the handle does have a little bit of dust fingerprints on it, but it's my own personal cup, so I'm not too worried about it. But when you sand, make sure you clean off your handle too. So then for this second coat of epoxy, I gave it a normal coat of epoxy, heated it with my heat gun, and then I took a little extra of the epoxy and I added this paint and this alcohol ink, and we are going to give it a Milky Way swirl in orange. My daughter joined Color Guard this year, which is part of the band, so we have been all in. It's all consuming, so of course I had to make myself a cup to represent. Also, my husband knocked my Miami Dolphins cup off the counter in the concession stand and broke the lid, so I of course said that, you know, it was even more meant for me to make my own cup. So I am just taking little strips with my popsicle stick and dragging it across. I just want it to kind of encase the black area. I'm not trying to cover up any area. And I just want this more as an accent color than a predominant color. The school colors are gray, black, and orange. We are the Bulldogs. So I really wanted the tumbler to be the black, silver, and white, and then the accent Milky Way with the orange. I did the alcohol ink and the paint because I wanted one to be a little bit more translucent and one to be a little bit more opaque, just to give, I really can't talk today, just to give it a little bit of a contrast and give it some dimension. So I'm really going in just willy-nilly, no rhyme or reason, back and forth with both of those epoxies. Trying not to mix them too much, and I'm trying again not to be too heavy-handed. I tend to go overboard with this as well, and then I get upset because it's like the orange has taken over the whole thing. So I really am just kind of going really light, and then if I feel like there's too much, I'm wiping it off, and I'm really trying to stop here while I'm ahead, because I always think just one more, and then it's too much. So it was starting to move just a little bit, so I was wiping that off with my hand, and then I'm going to let it sit and spin for quite a while, let my epoxy also with the orange in it, let that sit a little bit so it's a little bit thicker, and then towards the end I will go back in and add just a few more stripes just to give it a little bit more texture and veiny. It did all kind of end up blending together overall anyways, but you could always stop here, do another layer, and add more lines if you want to really give it a look with that different dimension and lines. Once that coat of epoxy was all dry and cured, I cut out some super tiny little orange paw prints. I had a different vision when I first pictured this in my mind, but I kind of changed it on a whim and decided I was going to add the orange paw prints in the orange lines. Originally, I was going to do it where the white was, but I kind of liked that it was more subtle and blended in with the orange. So I cut out these super adorable little paw prints. I did a tiny one and then one that was a little bit bigger just to fill it in a little bit differently, or fill it in a little bit more. And then I'm just going to add that to all of the orange areas. And I'm, again, trying not to be overly heavy-handed when I add all the paw prints. I just want them sporadic. And then the last minute change that I made was, because Color Guard is considered part of the band, I decided it needed these adorable little tiny music notes on here as well. So I'm going to also add those into the orange area. So it's basically just getting a lot of dimension in here on that orange swirl. I felt like it just looked like the music notes and the paw prints were like swimming in the orange layer. So I am going to add these all over and sporadically add those as well. And then I am going to go back in and add a few more paw prints. I just wanted to fill it up without it looking overly like too much, but just enough that it fills it up nicely. Since my daughter joined Color Guard, that has just been so life consuming lately. We helped over the summer with band camp, going and helping feed the kids dinner every night because they were having to be there for 12 hours a day. And then the concession stand got a remodel, so we helped clean that and reorganize that. We have been learning the concession stand, so tonight is actually our first night, so I am kind of excited. It's been a lot of fun volunteering, and my husband went and picked up an AC unit for the concession stand, so it has literally been all consuming for us. So just stay tuned. I will be back to my regularly scheduled routine here now that we are getting back into the groove of things. But here I am adding the final touches of these music notes. I really wanted to make sure that they stood out. And then I gave it 2 final coats of epoxy, sanding a little bit in between that coat, and this beauty was all done. I was gonna add some words on it, but I felt like I really didn't want anything to take away from these adorable little paw prints and music notes. I felt like it really just spoke for itself. So I am so excited that I'm going to use it tonight at the concession stand because, I am just that matchy-matchy mom. I've always been that way, so I have to, of course, have a cup to represent and be matchy-matchy. So that is it. I hope that I have inspired you in some way or another. And as usual, I will leave all of the information, where to find me, and the products that I use down in the description box. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me, Facebook, email me, PM me, whatever. I'm always available. So that's it, and I will be back next week with another tutorial, and thanks for sticking around while I've been MIA. Bye, y'all.